everyone, good day. I am Jenina Angela L, a second-year student of Bicol University College of Industrial Technology with the course Bachelor of Technical Vocational Teacher Education, major in Garments, Fashion, and Design. Today, I will present to you my chosen qualification, which is the Barangay Health Services NC2. I chose this qualification because looking back to the days when I was young, my childhood dream was to become a registered nurse. I want to provide health services to the society where I belong and act as significant agents for change in the communities where I can serve, carry out relevant functions and programs that educate people about their health conditions. However, due to financial difficulties, I needed to sacrifice my own desire and stick to reality and practicality. But that doesn't mean that I don't love to be where I am today. Instead, I am grateful in every stage of my life, which are closely connected to what God has really planned for me. Competency-based curriculum. The first version of the competency-based curriculum is about the course design, which pertains to the process and methodology of creating quality learning environments and experiences for students, wherein I must consider its primary elements when designing my class. Course design. Course title: Barangay Health Services. Nominal duration: for the basic competencies, I have 37 hours. And for the common competencies, I have 42 hours. And for the core competencies, I have 384 hours with a total of 463 hours. Its qualification level: National Certificate 2. Course description. This course is designed to enhance the knowledge, skills, and attitudes of Barangay Health Services NC2 in accordance with industry standards. This covers competencies that a person must achieve in assisting the household to identify health problems, to promote health and well-being, sharing knowledge and skills among members to provide information, education, and communication, and or household teaching in disease prevention and control, ensuring the proper maintenance of health station and safe custody and its equipment, medical supplies, materials and health records, monitoring health status of household members under his or her area of service coverage, and maintaining updated lists or records of health activities. Trainee entry requirements. Trainees or students who wants to enroll in this qualification should possess the following requirements. First, must have completed at least 10 years of basic education or alternative learning system certificate of completion with grade 10 equivalent holder. Second, must be at least 18 years old. Third, must have good communication skills. Fourth, must be able to perform basic computation. And lastly, must be physically fit. Course structure. For the basic competencies, I have 9 units of competencies, a total of 37 hours. For the common competencies, I have 4 units of competencies, a total of 42 hours. For the core competencies, I have 5 units of competencies, a total of 384 hours. Assessment methods: oral questioning, written test, interview, and observation. Its course delivery are lecture or discussion, demonstration, self-learning. Resources: list of recommended tools, equipment, and materials for the training of 25 trainees for Barangay Health Services NC2 are the following. Facilities: Qualification of instructors or trainers. Must be a holder of National TVET Trainer Certificate Level 1 in Barangay Health Services NC2. And must be a licensed doctor, licensed midwife, registered nurse, or graduate or any allied healthcare course with background or orientation on healthcare service delivery. For the second portion of the competency-based curriculum is about the module of instructions, wherein I need to prepare and do the same process from the different units of competency, starting from the basic, common, and core competencies. The module of instructions presents the detailed specifications for each learning outcomes from the different units of competency, starting from the basic, common, and core. So, I will share to you how I developed my module of instruction. First, I opened my chosen training regulation, which served as my reference how I developed my module of instructions based on the qualification I chose. From training regulation, copy the unit of competency, then make the first word of it into action word, which will serve as our module title. For the module of description, just copy the unit descriptor from the training regulation. For the learning outcomes, copy the elements written in the training regulation. For the assessment criteria, I just copied the performance criteria written in training regulation. As you will notice, based from the arrows, L01 CBC is from the element 1 of the TR, while for the assessment criteria in the CBC is from the performance criteria in the TR. For the content, I selected the most appropriate content or lesson from the underpinning knowledge or skills depending on the assessment criteria and with the particular learning outcome. For the conditions, I selected the most appropriate variable or learning material to be used from the range of variables which is appropriate with the particular learning outcome, content, and assessment criteria. For the methodologies and assessment methods, I referred to the section 3 of my training regulation and I looked for the particular unit of competency and copied the methodology and assessment approach to my competency-based curriculum. And here is the portion of the module of instruction I had developed. Once again, good day everyone. I am Jenina Angela L and I will be your course instructor for today. The unit of competency I chose was assist the household to identify health problems to promote health and well-being. Assisting the household to identify health problems to promote health and well-being. At the end of the session, you are expected to first, assist clients to communicate with service providers. Second, explain to service provider for better understanding of client and community needs. And lastly, give support to clients when assessing health services. Service. A service is something that the public needs such as transport, communication facilities, hospitals, or energy supplies which provided in a planned and organized way by the government or an official body. A client is a person who uses the professional advice or receives services of another. From your perspective, what is a health service provider? Well, this is an organization that provides a health service and holds health information which is covered by Privacy Act 1988. Even if their small business or providing a health service is not their primary activity. Some examples of a health service provider covered by the Privacy Act include a general practitioner or a medical practitioner, a blood or tissue bank, a private hospital or a day procedure center, a private aged care or palliative care facility, a dentist, a pharmacist, an allied health professional. Regarding this, what does providing health service mean? Providing a health service means doing an activity such as diagnosing or treating illness or disability, assessing, maintaining, or improving an individual's physical or psychological health, managing an individual's health, recording an individual's health to assess, maintain, improve, or manage it, a pharmacist dispensing prescription drugs or medication. 7 main types of customer needs. First, we have friendliness. This is the most basic customer needs that associated with things like courtesy and politeness. Friendly agents are a top indicator of a good customer experience. Second, we have empathy. Customers need to know the organization understands and appreciates their needs and circumstances. Third, fairness. Customers must feel that they are getting adequate attention and fair and reasonable answers. Fourth, control. Customers want to feel like they have an influence on the outcome. And you can empower your customers by listening to their feedback and using it improved. Fifth, alternatives. Customers want choice and flexibility from customer service. They want to know there is a range of options available to satisfy them. In fact, high-performing companies are more likely to provide customers with a choice of customer service channels. Sixth, information. Customers want to know about products and services in a pertinent and time-sensitive manner. Too much information and selling can be off-putting for them. That's why a knowledge base is a great way to provide existing customers with the information they need. 7th, time. Customers' time is valuable and organizations need to treat it as such. 73% of customers said that resolving their issues quickly is the top component of a good customer experience. To deliver on that expectation, teams need customer service software that arms them with tools to respond to customers quickly and effectively. And one of those examples of customer's need is that a great way to determine your customer's need is to pay attention to your customer support data. How to identify customer needs? To identify the needs of your customers, there are few tried and true methods to consider. For example, focus groups and customer surveys. A focus group is a group of deliberately chosen people who participate in a discussion on a specific topic. Focus groups are great for getting a sense for consumers' feelings and perceptions. Second, customer surveys. Surveys are a traditional way to gather information from larger groups of people. Most surveys are in question and answer format to provide metrics. If you want to understand what current customers, a survey can help you glean these insights. What is a workplace policy? Workplace policies often reinforce and clarify standard operating procedure in a workplace. Well-written policies help employers manage staff more effectively by clearly defining acceptable and unacceptable behavior in the workplace and set out the implications of not complying with those policies. A workplace policy consists of a statement of purpose and one or more broad guidelines on action to be taken to achieve that purpose. And that statement of purpose should be written in simple terms and free of jargon. A workplace procedure tells employees how to implement those policies. When used together, policies and procedures give employees a well-rounded understanding of their workplace. In this session, we will know some examples of policies and procedures in the workplace. First, Code of Conduct. A Code of Conduct is a common policy found in most business. It is a set of rules that companies expect employees to follow. The rules establish the accepted behavioral standards for all employees. A Code of Conduct policy may cover the following: attendance and absence, employee behavior, company values, break and mealtime policies, and confidentiality, use of company property, use of social media, travel policies, client interaction, and reporting misconduct. Second, recruitment policy. A workplace recruitment policy outlines how the company hires new people. It sets out the hiring process and aims to promote consistency in the recruitment process. It's an important document for employees to access and may cover the following things: internal and external hiring preferences, equal opportunity and anti-discrimination, job description and advertisement templates, selection process and time frame, how to review resumes and cover letters, the expected amount of shortlisted applicants, and how to select a suitable candidate and offer the job. Third, Internet and email policy. This policy outlines how companies expect employees to use their email accounts and the internet. It helps to save time and promote efficiency. It also sets up procedures to minimize risk, which is especially important for secure networks. An internet and email policy may cover the following things: internet access rules, appropriate online usage, controls on misuse of the internet, restrictions on web browsing, a security protocol for online data, social networking rules, work email usage rules, and work email usage at home or outside the office. Fourth, mobile phone policy. A mobile phone policy covers the rules of mobile phone usage in the workplace. It may cover personal mobile phone usage as well as work mobile phones. This policy in the workplace will provide employees with a comprehensive set of rules about when and how they are allowed to use their mobile phones. This sort of policy is set up to promote productivity and reduce distractions. It may cover the following: when you can use your personal mobile phone, where you can keep your personal mobile phone during office hours, rules surrounding personal phone calls, what is and isn't acceptable use for your work mobile phone, fifth, smoking policy. A smoking policy covers a workplace rules regarding smoking and tobacco use. Many companies do not allow smoking on their premises. It's important for employees to know where and when they can smoke if applicable. A smoking policy may cover the following: whether smoking is allowed, designated smoking areas, smoking breaks, and smoking off-site. Sixth, drug and alcohol policy. This type of policy covers a company's rules regarding drug and alcohol use. It may mention procedures for dealing with rule breaking. It may also mention the procedure for dealing drug testing. A drug and alcohol policy is usually a strict list of rules that may cover the following: a company's tolerance to drug and alcohol use, drug testing rules, and alcohol use rules. 7. Health and safety policy. This type of policy covers a company's obligations under work health and safety laws. It is an important policy because it establishes how employees are protected. Such a policy may cover the following: risk assessment, employee safety training, first aid information, equipment maintenance, safe handling of materials and substance, accident training, physical and mental health information, monitoring hazards, and emergency procedures. 8. Anti-discrimination and harassment policy. One of the key things to include in this policy is education. Education is one of the best ways to prevent discrimination and harassment. This type of policy may cover the following: procedure for employee complaints, education and training for employees, provide a clear definition of discrimination and harassment, guidelines for dealing with discrimination and harassment, how management expects to respond to complaints, and confidentiality information. 9. Grievance handling policy. A grievance handling policy is particularly important for employees. A grievance is a formal complaint made by an employee towards an employer. This policy can outline your rights as an employee and how the company expects to respond to your grievance. The policy can cover the following: procedure for submitting a formal grievance, company policy regarding response, procedure for investigating the grievance, confidentiality, possible outcomes, and appeal information. And lastly, we have discipline and termination policy. A discipline and termination policy establishes how a company may handle employees who do not follow its policies. This type of policy is important for employees as it lists the rights in terms of discipline and termination. This policy may cover the following: procedure for dealing with incidents that go against company policy, how a company responds to rule breaks, your rights to appeal discipline, and procedure for an investigation into incidents. Here are the top 10 rules for the open plan office. First, keep your voice level moderate. This may be harder for some than others, but the key is to know where your natural voice level falls and make adjustments. Second, don't hold meetings in your workplace. Your desk is only appropriate for a two-person meeting if you can quietly discuss something for 5 minutes or less. If you are collaborating with more than 2 people, be respectful of your neighbors and schedule the meeting in an appropriate setting. Third, have lengthy impromptu conversations away from desks or hallways. Catching up on weekend gossip, Moving out of your workplace and into a social setting. Most people still spend the majority of their time on work that requires concentration. Overhearing what you're saying will disrupt them. Fourth, don't talk or yell past your immediate neighbor. Fifth, don't use speakerphones ever or even to dial. Sixth, manage ringers and notifications. Best practice, walk into the office and put your phone on vibrate. If you absolutely need to have your phone, turn down the volume and most of all limit the number of rings. And when you walk away from your desk, take the phone with you. Seven, look before you interrupt. If someone's visibility occupied, they have headphones on their desk, they are talking to themselves, and your questions can wait, return later or send a message they can reply to at a better time. 8. Don't create unnecessary noise or smells. Pencil tappers, this means you. Snackers and gum crackers, this means you. Absolutely no music unless those headphones. Fish and popcorn can be friendship killers. Just be mindful of how your habits affect those around you. 9. Respect others' concerns. If someone complains in a very polite way about the noise you're making, realize that they most likely aren't doing it to be obnoxious. Rather, they probably have a lot to get done, are stressed and can't concentrate. And that being said, if you need super duper quiet to focus, maybe it's best that you can find a quiet space where you can be guaranteed solitude. And lastly, respect others' privacy. Sometimes you're going to hear business or personal information not intended for your ears. So you just have to keep it yourself. The third traditional healer refers to those practitioners other than religious healers who provide any health and health-related healing services using their indigenous knowledge and who are registered with an appropriate body. There are categories of non-medical traditional healers or folk doctors in the Philippines. The babaylan or the religious leader, albularyo, the manghihilot or the traditional massage therapist, the magpapaanak or the traditional midwife, also sometimes called a healer. Most folk healers in the Philippines believed that their medicinal and healing skills come from a supernatural being or given to them by God. Their practice and methods of curing ailments involves superstitions, recitation of prayers, and religious rituals accompanied by the mediation of the Holy Spirit, herbology, hydrotherapy, massage therapy, and divination. Although often found active in rural communities, traditional Filipino healers can also be found in small urban and suburban neighborhoods. During Spanish times in the Philippines, the Spaniards referred to folk doctors or traditional as mediquilos, or the herbal scientists, and sometimes as superstitious quacks. They were even called by the Spaniards simply as matanda or the elder. Personal Profile Form. This form collects such information as legal name, preferred name, marital status, gender, Social security number, date of birth, ethnicity, and home address. Here is an example of personal profiling form. And now, I will be flashing a video clip about assisting the household to identify health problems to promote health and well-being. Kindly watch and observe its content because later on I will be giving a task related to it. Hello everybody, I am Jenina Angela L, your registered nurse. In this video, we'll be discussing a client health assessment. A client health assessment provides an opportunity to assess the client's general health, their needs and goals, and design a training program to suit. It also provides the chance to begin building the relationship and trust between you and the client. Where possible, it's best to conduct the screening in an environment which is comfortable and quiet. The client may have already completed a pre-screening questionnaire during the fitness orientation. If not, give the client a few minutes to answer the questionnaire and then go through the information together. The health assessment is a good time to gather other health-related information and discuss them, decline any pre-existing medical conditions, current level of fitness, training history, and any other expectations or worries they may have. At FitLent, we recommend the adult pre-screening tool. From the information gathered, a client's current health status can be classified as one of the 3 levels through a risk stratification process. Low risk is when a person has no signs, symptoms, or diagnosis of cardiovascular, pulmonary, or metabolic disease and no more than cardiovascular risk factor present. A person at this level may participate in aerobic physical activity or exercise up to a vigorous or high-intensity level. A person is considered a moderate risk where there are 2 or more cardiovascular disease risks, but no signs, symptoms, or diagnosis of cardiovascular, pulmonary, or metabolic diseases. Person at this level may participate in aerobic physical activity or exercise at a light or moderate intensity level. High-risk classification is when there are 1 or more signs or symptoms of cardiovascular, pulmonary, or metabolic diseases present or a positive diagnosis of cardiovascular disease has been confirmed. Let's take an example of a client health assessment where the risk of stratification is utilized.
Hey Kestra, thank you for coming in today. Obviously I saw you when we did your pre-screening test when you first came in and signed up. Today's part 2, we're going to do health screening, the rest of it. We're going to take you through a few more questions and then I want to do some health tests on you as well. Is that alright?
Great, yeah.
Brilliant. Let's get started. So, you know the details there. A few more questions. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Cool. Female, obviously. Have you had any family history of heart disease or anything?
Yes, my dad had a heart attack when he was 45.
45. I'm sorry to hear that. What about smoking? Are you a smoker at all?
No.
No smoking, that's brilliant to hear. What about high blood pressure? Has anyone ever told you about high blood pressure?
No, not high blood pressure.
No? Excellent. Have you been told you have high cholesterol?
Yes, I was told that a few years ago.
Where did you have this taken? Or?
Just at the pharmacy.
At the pharmacy, yeah. Well, that's something we'll have a look into a little bit later on down the track. I don't think it's anything to worry about too much at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been told that you've had high blood sugar?
No.
No. Excellent. Have you spent any time in the hospital in the last 12 months? Any injuries, any issues?
No.
Anything at all? No, that's good. Currently taking any prescribed medications?
No.
No, excellent. And you're not pregnant or giving birth in the last 12 months?
No.
I guess you're nice and healthy, which is good. What about any injuries or any soreness or anything you've had? You need to know about?
Yeah, I rolled my ankle about 6 months ago playing football.
Rolled your ankle. Was it quite a serious roll? put you out for a bit?
Yeah, I had to stop playing, so I haven't done much for the past 6 months.
That's cool. How's it feeling now when you put pressure on it?
It feels okay, I don't notice it.
Cool. Was it your left ankle or your right ankle?
It was my right one.
Right ankle. Just write this down as well. Just in case anything pops up later on. We've always got it on file. Have a look at that. Right, in terms of your exercise that you've been doing lately, do you do any exercise currently? Do you do any training sports or anything?
Yeah, I have football training once a week and I play a game once a week.
Football training once a week? Cool. How long does that training last for?
About an hour and a half each.
Hour and a half, so like about 3 hours or so of physical activity a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And let's talk about intensity. Are they quite intense sessions? Are they moderate socially?
I'd say moderate to high level.
Moderate to high level? Cool. So you've obviously done a little bit of moderate, vigorous intensity before, so that might be something we look at later on in terms of the workouts that you're doing. And what's sort of the reason for coming to the gym?
I just need to get stronger and better for football.
Was this in relation to the sport you're playing at the moment?
Yeah.
Brilliant, cool. I'm sure we can work a few things in with that. We're now going to go through a few health tests. Right, so the first one's going to be the BMI. So this is a quick and easy test that measures your body composition. It's going to give us an underweight, normal range, overweight range. Nice and easy to use. We're just going to take your height and then compare it to your weight.
Okay.
So it's going to give you what sort of weight range you should be in comparison to your height. Sound cool?
Sounds good.
How tall are you at the moment?
I'm 158 centimetres.
158 centimetres. And what I'll do is we'll take your weight. If I get you to just take your shoes off and stand up for me. Just have a stand on the scales for me. That's perfect. Just sit down for me. So we've got your height, we've got your weight. Just put those two numbers into our calculation. Comes out at 23, which puts you in a nice, normal, healthy weight range.
Great.
Is that cool? Next test that we're going to perform is a blood pressure test. Have you had your blood pressure taken before?
I have.
You have? Do you remember what the score was?
No, I don't.
No worries. So we're going to put the cuff on here. We're going to have the cord facing down through the middle of your elbow here, just where the brachial artery is. We're going to wrap the cuff around. Have you had any coffee or anything today?
This morning I did.
This morning?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too bad. What about any physical activity, anything
No,
today?
not today.
Excellent. So this is going to inflate. You're going to feel a little tightness on your arm. At the end of that, it only lasts a few seconds, so they're going to drop down for you.
Okay.
Is that cool? And we have 105 over 58. So that's in the lower part of the normal range. Nothing we need to worry about there. We'll monitor that down though, and when we next do the test, we just compare the answers, check we're all going along nicely.
Okay.
Cool. The final test we're going to do, Kesper, is your waist-hip ratio. Right, so this is going to tell us if there's any underlying issues in terms of your health at the moment. Right. Cool, and we come out at 0.76, which again puts you in a nice normal range. Fantastic, just where we want to be. Gone through a few extra questions. We've found that you're in a relatively healthy stage. You're actually in a moderate risk factor, but you're at a very low moderate risk factor. And that's because of obviously the heart attack that your father had a while back, and also the high cholesterol that you had in the pharmacy at that time. That's something that we might need to get checked a little bit later on. What we will do at this stage is obviously start you at moderate intensity, just to make sure everything's going all right for the first few weeks, for the first month. And then if that all looks good and all the tests come up all right after that, we'll move you on into some slightly more intense workouts.
Sounds good.
Sounds all right? Thank you, Kestra.
Thanks.
So that was an example of a health assessment. Had the client been classified in the high-risk category, then a medical clearance would have been necessary. If the client has a regular GP, get them to make an appointment alternatively. You may need to recommend the client to an appropriate medical or allied health professional yourself. The medical practitioner or allied health professional's contact details the client's name, address, gender, and date of birth and a detailed reason, referral, or medical clearance. Third, voiceover. As you can see, a health assessment gives you a great opportunity to find out more about the client and the goals, develop rapport, and build that client-trainer relationship. It's important to make the client feel comfortable. Remember, you may have done dozens of health assessments, but for your client, it may be the first step. Keep the mood light and informative. The more information you can give to the client, the more expectation you can expect back. And that means a better end product. So it's a win-win. It may be likely that you will uncover a potential health issue or touch on a subject that may be sensitive to your client. Always be mindful and respectful when discussing health issues. The next step is to perform a fitness assessment with the client. That's where the client is taken through a series of tests to measure strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular performance. Just which test you to decide to use will depend on what the client's goals are, what tests you regularly do, and what the facility will recommend or request. So in that video clip, we had gained an understanding on how to assist the household to identify health problems to promote health and well-being. To formally evaluate and know how does you have learned, I will group you into 4 groups, and you are going to have a short skit on how to assist client and give support to them when accessing health services. You will be graded according to the following rubrics: understanding of topic, equivalent to 30%, cooperation, which is 30%, and the presentation, which composed of 30%. The group with the highest score will be announced as winner. You may now brainstorm with your group, and after 10 minutes, you're going to present it. That's the end of our session. You truly learned something. Thank you so much for your active participation.